I find this ring at the back of my mom's big wooden jewelry box. It's small and gold, and there is a black square on the top, and then the number 19 on one side and 58 on the other. My mom says, "That's my class ring, honey, put it back." But it fits my finger. I slide it over my knuckle, and it swings loose around my 9-year-old finger. And it stays on if I keep my finger bent. I'm sitting in the middle of my mom's big unmade bed, and I'm watching her fold laundry. Her big wooden jewelry box sits open in my crisscross lap. My mom is too tired to argue with me about that ring, and she disappears into the closet with this stack of laundry. And me? Shh. I don't put the ring back. I just lift up and I slide it under my hip and I settle back down on top of it. And then my mom comes out of the closet and she's carrying with her this great big suitcase, which she heaves up and then nudges onto the bed with her hip. And I say, "Are we going somewhere?" She stops and she pushes my bangs out of my face and she says, "I thought we'd go and spend a few days with your Uncle John and Aunt Marilyn, just you kids and me. Would you like that?" And I say, "Well, sure, but Dad's not coming?" And she says, "No, honey, your dad's not coming." So the next day we load into the car, me hiding that ring by tucking my left hand into my right. And in no time, we are screaming down the highway, 85 miles an hour. Mom smoking like a chimney, hanging her cigarette out of the crack in the car window. And when we get there, Uncle John and Aunt Marilyn, they take us to Louisville Lake. There is a blanket in the dirt on the shore, and a bucket of chicken from a place called Grandpa's. Mom and Aunt Marilyn, they sit shoulder to shoulder in this whispered confession. The sun is therapy hot. The water is murky brown, and the wind is causing goose flesh on my dry skin. My mom looks up and she says, "Robin, honey, go play. You don't need to be listening to this." But I don't want to go. I want to stay and listen, as if somehow knowing will help me to understand the things that I can't seem to wrap my head around. But I go. I wade out into the murky unknown, my hands raised over my head, that water rising until it tickles the underside of my swimming suit. I keep thinking that my foot is going to brush up against a dead body that I am just sure is lying somewhere on the floor of that lake. I'm making my way out to my sister, Andrea, and my older cousin, Debbie. They're playing and splashing there in the water, and I get closer and closer until finally my sister turns, and she sees me, and she sticks her tongue out. And then she open-palmed with both of her hands, she splashes me, and this wave of water comes up, and I gasp as it hits my shoulders. I am so mad at her. I'm so mad that I take my hands and I splash her back. And I feel that ring slip from my straightened finger and disappear into the murky brown. I stand there frozen, and I watch as Debbie and Andrea swim away completely unaware. And then finally, when I can move, I flail myself towards the shore. I am a windmill, arms and legs bringing these sheets of water from my limbs as I struggle to make it to the shore. And when I get there, I gasp and I say, the ring, it's gone. I splashed, it slipped, I'm sorry. And my mom says, "Robin, was that my class ring? I told you not to wear it." My cousin Shelly, she's a teenager and she's watching. She's looking at my face and then my mom's and then back to mine. And then she is up and running toward the water. And she says over her shoulder, "Come on, we'll find it." But the lake is huge. And Shelly is so small as she enters that water. And the ring is smaller still. but it's out there somewhere, and hope rises in me. And then Shelley is bent, and she is reaching down and bringing up fists full of that silky silt from the bottom of the lake. She's watching it sift through her fingers. Again and again, she reaches down a human sluice, and she watches as that silt filters through her fingers. Silt and more silt. Only silt, no ring. But then, mouth open, she raises her hand up out of the water, thumb and middle finger touching, the ring between. Miraculously, and my mom is at the shore. She has a cigarette out to her side, and she's on her tiptoes, and she's saying, "Oh, you didn't find it. Shelley, you didn't find it." But she did. And we emerge from that forgiving, generous water. We are dripping and joyous and renewed. And on the shore, we dance around and we laugh and we hug and we cry. And my mom takes that ring and she puts it in her change purse. And then she turns away from me. And I snuggle up next to her on the blanket, but she won't look at me or talk to me. And I wait patiently. And eventually, she puts her hand on my shoulder. And then she says, "Boy, are you lucky, Missy." And then the smallest of smiles. And for that moment, in a world of secrets and lost things, something has been found.